being but into living. Good evening and a very warm welcome to each one of you present here. Today, we gather here to celebrate the beauty and power of literature, an art form that has the incredible ability to transport us to different worlds, expand our horizons, and ignite our imaginations. I, Neelam Sevlikar, SS Woman of Pune, welcome you to the Right Circle. A cross-country forum from wordsmiths in the English language and literature, the Right Circle strives to bring together authors and passionate readers to form a community of its own. It is an honor to have all of you join us for yet another session of the Right Circle. We are particularly privileged to have with us Abhigyan Prakash, grace this occasion with his presence and give us the opportunity to listen to him in close quarters as he wades through his experiences and reflections with today's moderator, Sujata Sabnis, again an SS woman of Pune. Before the captivating rendezvous unrolls, let me take a few seconds to introduce you to Prabha Khaitan Foundation. Prabha Khaitan Foundation is a non-profitable trust based in Kolkata, was founded by an eminent literature and cultural activist, the late Dr. Prabha Khaitan, in the early 1980s. The foundation is dedicated to social, cultural, and humanitarian causes. It is also committed to promoting performing arts, culture, education, literature, gender equality, and women's empowerment through authors' meets, book launches, literature fests for veterans and child authors, panel discussions, boutique festivals, and performances of singers, dancers, and theatre performers. Authors and artists connect with their niche audience through events under the auspice of its varied initiatives. We are overjoyed to share that the 3-time Grammy Award winner, Ricky Cage, you must have heard his, the man behind the signature caller tune of Prabha Khaitan Foundation, has curated 12 amazing musical pieces to score across video invites of the events and social media platforms. The song of this month, June, is dedicated to the theme Mother Earth. Today's session is in association with the O Hotel and the support of the SS Women of India. Of course, our media partners for today's event is Lokmat. Abhigyan Prakash, a celebrated icon, and sure needs knowing. A celebrated icon sure needs no introduction. Nevertheless, it is my utmost privilege to introduce him today. Mr. Abhigyan Prakash is an award-winning senior journalist and columnist and has been an icon frontline face pioneering news television. Currently a senior editorial consultant, a national affairs expert for ABP News, an anchor and a political journalist since 1996. A unique distinguisher for being a broadcaster, first in English, then in Hindi, later moving to Hindi in the year 2003 as the youngest editor in Mumbai. All the shows Abhigyan has done have been flagship shows and have won countless awards in various categories. His latest professional endeavor was working with NDTV as a senior managing editor. The latest feather in his cap is a book name From Lucknow to Lutyens, The Power and Plight of Uttar Pradesh, which is, in less than 1 year, has become a bestseller today. A writer and a trained musician at heart, Abhigyan is a trained tabla player for 18 years. He started his career as a copywriter at Hindustan Thompson Associates before moving on to TV. He has so much of experience and exposure, making him one of the best storytellers and a strategist in brand building, governances, and policy making. And today's conversation, we keenly wait to get many takeaways from him. The moderator for the evening is my dear friend Sujata Sabnis, Aisas woman of Pune. Sujata is an accomplished journalist herself, turned author. She's written 4 novels and 1 web series. And without much delay, I hand over to Sujata to take over.
Abhigyan, thank you so much for gracing our function, and it's a pleasure to have you in Pune. So, okay, I wanted to start asking you about your journey from print media to television media. That is quite a transition, I'm sure, especially when you must have been very young you studied that. And I think television news तभी तो अभी भी शुरू हुआ था ज़्यादा देर नहीं थी उसमें तो things were not very understandable or knowable also by many people. तो आपने जो transition किया वो कैसा रहा, क्या हुआ, हमें कुछ शेयर करें.
Good evening, everyone. And it's a pleasure for me to be here. Now it's kind of an association I'm forming with the wonderful Prakash Foundation. We did the book function in Oxford, London, Slough, and then one recently in Mumbai. I met the publishers of the book for the first time. I'm just telling you that. And they told me the book was doing very well, but trust me, the publishers don't do anything about the book. They publish it and then they leave it for you to do whatever. So I had a rather heated session with the publishers, and I said, for a book on Uttar Pradesh to travel so much and constantly I'm flooded with offers to bring the book to this city, to bring the book to that city. So that has been very heartwarming, and Prabha Khaitan has been a wonderful intellectual vehicle to meet everyone and those who want to understand this book. Personally, it has been a very satisfying journey so far for me. Coming to your question, I'll give you a very straightforward answer. No transition, no journey. सिर्फ जिंदगी के हालात. And the reason is that first and foremost, I'm not an educated guy, so I could not do any formal education, and I don't consider myself being educated beyond 10 standard. I'm very honest about it. Rest has only been work and learning. So I lost my father very young. As a result of that, and I was associated with print media because I knew Indian classical music. So I wrote on that. And while writing on that, somebody suggested me in Lucknow that, you move to Delhi because there's little that you can do here in Lucknow. So I should be very, very young, very managing to do other studies. So I shifted to Delhi. I was like literally running away from the house because the family conditions were not such. So why I'm telling you is very important. So I've never had any learning of journalism, television, nothing, no training ever in my life.
Natural talent.
It just kept on happening. No way. I always go to, I was just telling her, I'm very involved now in colleges and universities, and I always tell children my story. And tell them that when parents make you study and send you to the best colleges, schools, India or abroad, where you went, you all don't know how privileged you are. You have to meet people like me who now go and teach in universities across the world, but have no formal education, because the graduation I did in subjects didn't really matter to my life. So simple transition was that I did some work in print in Lucknow, came to Delhi, didn't get a job anywhere. someone somehow managed to get me a place in an advertising agency. So because I had the ability to write, I became a copywriter.
That was talent.
So very young I was, you know, 20-ish type. And as a copywriter, I wrote my first lyrics for a UNICEF program for Shan Benegal. And he was making a film on immunization mission for UNICEF. We were very impressed. But since you're not able to decide and there's no family or anyone to tell you, there I met somebody again who told me to come to television. So I landed up in ZTV, which is like the starting point of ZTV. I lasted there for a little while. Then at some place, actually eating Andhra Bhavan, there are a lot of bhavans in Delhi which has lovely eating places. So at Andhra Bhavan, there's a gentleman who's not in this world anymore, Appan, who's very close to Pune. He saw me.
Okay.
And he brought me to Pune. And he said that you should have this guy. And I told him, if you hire me, it's your good luck. If you don't, it's your bad luck. He laughed.
Oh, you said that?
Yeah, I told him, and that's how I get in. So, through this journey, which was very young, naturally there was no time to be educated, no time to know anything. Whatever work you got because of your financial condition. I lived in a house in Delhi, in a refugee settlement area of Delhi, Abhigyan. Where my first house in Delhi was a room of an asbestos sheet. So it didn't even have a proper room. So a lot of people have to come and do it. My story is no exception. So, and I used to get up early in the morning and clean autos for 5 rupees in the Malviya Clean Circle and then head to my bus to get to office. So that's how you started. So why I'm telling you all this is, in this period, there was no scope. There was no scope of going to Oxford or Harvard or anywhere in the world or any media institute. They were still there. There was Jamia, and then you came to a place like NDTV where everybody was very educated, from wonderful families, had multiple kinds of education, including that of journalism and television. So that was my story. But then I just landed up here.
So पहली बार फेस किया as a news reader या जो भी घबराहट नहीं हुई? It's a visual medium is so different.
तब नहीं हुई, अब होती है.
अब होती है.
तब तो उतना जुनून था कि कुछ तो करेंगे ना लाइफ में, माँ बाप नहीं है, घर वाले नहीं है, आगे पीछे कोई सपोर्ट नहीं है, तो कुछ तो करना ही है, नहीं तो क्या करेंगे?
और अभी आप प्रणव रॉय को बोल के भी आए हैं कि आपका बैड लगे.
हाँ, he don't hide. He still tells me that I'm still very close to all of them. So that was it. So this time there was, as I said, there's no choice. Life doesn't give you a choice. So you had to do it. So whatever I got, whichever way I thought, I did. And then, barely 23, 24 I'd been, in fact, I'm trying to recollect now. And imagine I had become like part of the household of Vajpayee. He was the Prime Minister. So at that age.
At the age of 23, 24.
So you were traveling with the Prime Minister and you were so close to him and the family. So just these things kept on happening. I didn't realize much of it. Now, of course, I look back and.
Do you feel destiny took you by hand and took you along, or what was it?
I don't know, because it was just that things kept on happening very fast. And now, when I've taken a break from a lot of things in the last 4 or 5 years have been of contemplation, of understanding. So sometimes I go through depression, sometimes I go through anxiety. Because now I want to go back and turn a lot of things, change a lot of things, which is of course not possible in life. But that period was so fast that I didn't realize. So you work in 12, 16 hours a day, you didn't know, right? You were at the peak of power, absolutely at the peak of power. And my specialization was covering the power in the government. So, and also doing programming in the evening for the channel. So, much of these things I didn't even realize.
I'm very touched by you. Everything so frankly and honestly that you.
But that's true. You know, a lot of people tell me, and I don't agree with it, because a lot of people tell me, oh, you've done so well, why do you want to? No, tell your story. Maybe someone would learn out of it. I don't know. I don't believe in hiding it.
Absolutely.
This is absolutely true.
It definitely gives people hope, that there is a future.
Because it's so true. Why I say this? Because now I'm very engaged. I like to interact and teach in my lots of offers from very prestigious universities. I get. I've just associated myself with one university as being on their board in Jaipur. In fact, I went for a book function only. They're very impressed with their work. So the reason, as she rightly said, for me sharing this is just to tell that children when they're young, I also made my share of errors and mistakes, nobody to guide you. Feel very privileged. Then you have, don't take it for bloody granted.
Right.
Because there are millions and millions like me who don't get that chance.
Yeah.
So children also have to get that realization, the sacrifice of the parents, the guidance they get. It makes such a huge difference now. Nearly 2.5 decades down the line, now you realize what a difference it made. Then you're young, you want to do it, you don't realize. Now you do. So I try and tell people through my story that if they can do their share of course correction, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's nothing bad. And I also convey to the parents, particularly as I was just telling her husband that I'm very associated with the educational institute. I like going there, I like talking. So even the parents I tell, because they get very hyper, they get very concerned about their children. So I tell them also my story. So it's both ways that, and as I said, my story is not some only one or the only. There are hundreds such stories. So it's a learning for both the child and the parent as well.
Especially, like UP में तो ऐसे बहुत सारी stories हैं.
Yeah, like Manoj.
Absolutely, and we'll come back to that. That is a big issue. I want to take up here. Right now, I want to say that you are known as a hyphen mola of the television world. Like, you are, I mean, we can talk to you about politics, about industry, about movies, music.
Yeah.
So, is this hyphen mola character just you, or is it also a UPI in you? Because जहाँ तक मुझे पता है, UPIs का उनको तो मतलब जादू होता है जुबान में. Seriously, मतलब कोई भी आप पकड़ लो, वो मतलब आधे घंटे तक आपको पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में बताएगा और जो फर्स्ट क्लास बताएगा. So is this UP or is it just you or what is it?
नहीं, पॉलिटिक्स तो उनके पानी में.
पानी में.
और बातें करना भी उनके फोन होता है.
जी, अरे क्या सफाई का बात करते हैं.
हाँ, तो हम लोग खूब हंसते थे. 2012 में I did 13 episodes at a stretch for KBC, and Bachchan Saab and I used to have lunch every day. हम लोग खूब मजाक ऐसे गप्पे मारते थे about UP and the pain of the भैया.
Yeah.
So ये कुछ typical traits होते हैं वहाँ के. I'm sure which I also got in my own way. तो पॉलिटिक्स में बड़ा नेचुरल इंटरेस्ट होता है लोगों को. सबके घर में राजनीति डिस्कस होती है at every level, men, women, children, family. तो उसका एक इम्पैक्ट आता है. बोलने का इतना बड़ा स्टेट है कि हर थोड़े से किलोमीटर्स पे जबान चेंज होती है, खाना चेंज होता है. तो उसका भी एक इम्पैक्ट आता है. ये सब चीज़ें हैं. मतलब खासियत है यूपी की, और बहुत सारे लोगों ने फिर इसको अपने तरह से अडॉप्ट किया. So I think it was a very good sign with the changing generation. It happened. But what I mentioned in the book is not this. These are good points.
Yeah.
The more serious issues are there in the book for UP.
So, okay, now we'll just go back to your earlier days. आपका जन्म काशी विश्वनाथ टेम्पल के एकदम पास में, राइट? सो अभी आप जब जाते हो वापस तो आपको कैसे लगता है काशी? How do you find
I get very emotional with Banaras. It's a very unique city. मेरे हिसाब से पता नहीं क्या है, सबको ईश्वर बाबा का आशीर्वाद भी है, बट है तो सच में बहुत यूनिक जगह। कुछ है, गंदी संदी है, तो थोड़ी साफ सुथरी हो गई पहले से।
How do you find the corridor? मुझे नहीं आजमा था। काशी विश्वनाथ।
हाँ, मतलब मुझे बताया गया क्योंकि मैंने एक ज़माने में ही तय किया था कि जो परिवार और फोर फादर्स की प्रॉपर्टी का बनाया उसमें मैं कभी कोई दखल-अंदाजी नहीं करूँगा। तो जिस घर में मेरा जन्म हुआ उसको उसके हिस्से में ले लिया गया, वो सारे ले लिया उसको। हाँ, जब वो फैसले आए तो मुझे बताया गया उसके बारे में। तो वो अच्छी चीज़ है, बनना चाहिए। बट काशी अब इतनी उसकी कहानियां हैं, सच में बड़ी यूनिक सी जगह है। उसकी ऊर्जा अलग है, उसके लोग अलग हैं, और whenever I go, you feel very different there. Somehow, I don't know, it's very strange. Every city has its own character, but there's something very unique about Banaras. In fact, the city I found closest to Banaras, like a very unique character, full of thugs, was Rome, which is also a religious center.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You find Rome and Kashi
Banaras
similar?
is very similar.
Really?
Yeah, Kashi is very different.
Oh, okay. You were born to a mother who's a writer, संस्कृत के scholar है, हिंदी and संस्कृत के scholar है, writer है, poetess भी है. तो I was very fascinated to hear that. I wanted you to अगर आप हमको सुनाएं 2 lines उनके poetry की, तो it will be nice for us.
मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा, मैं कल से कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। तो the fact is I'm not being able to remember. But yeah, उनकी वजह से क्या हुआ, क्योंकि आप संगीत सीखने जाते थे, घर में मदर इज लाइक दैट, तो आपने बड़े से बड़े म्यूजिशियन को सुना घर में जब तक वो थी, बिकॉज आई लॉस्ट माय पेरेंट्स से काफ़ी कम उम्र में। तो घर में बहुत नेचुरल साहित्यिक माहौल था
जी।
उसी की वजह से हो सकता है ये काम मुझे मिला। तो वहाँ पे लोग आते जाते थे, कभी कभी जैसे इनफॉर्मली सबके घर पे होता है, संगीत की बैठक लगती है, गोष्ठियाँ लगती हैं, ये सब मेरे घर पे भी होना बहुत नॉर्मल था। तो ऑब्वियसली सबसे ज़्यादा उनका ही इन्फ्लुएंस था मेरे ऊपर
जी।
और अंग्रेजी अपने स्कूल में पढ़ी, बाद में जो भी काम मैंने हिंदी में किया तो वो तो पूरी ही उनकी देन है। मैंने कभी सोचा भी नहीं था कि मैं हिंदी में इतना काम कर पाऊंगा, तो वो भाषा उनसे मिली। चूंकि आप लखनऊ में बड़े हुए तो आपको ज़बान हिंदुस्तानी मिली। लखनऊ में बड़ा खूबसूरत मिश्रण है, it's like an amalgamation of 2 beautiful languages. So one of the key centers of Hindustani is Lucknow, because one side brings in the beautiful Urdu and the other side brings in the Hindi, which is the impact from more central part of UP. So that benefit also I got, because the language spoken there is not purely Urdu. So it's a very balanced combination of the two. So these things eventually help to natural कोई लाइन आज याद नहीं आ रही, आएंगी तो जरूर बोलूँगा। लेकिन हाँ, माँ का तो सबसे ज़्यादा प्रभाव था।
जी। आप तबला सीखे हैं 18 साल से you are in a तबला player, right? Did you ever think of taking it up professionally? कभी ऐसे मन में विचार आया था?
नहीं, अगर घर के हालात ऐसे नहीं होते तो शायद मैं करता।
सच्ची?
हाँ, जरूर। लेकिन चूंकि हालात वैसे नहीं थे, और अभी भी I want to do a lot, उसमें मैं सोचता हूँ, चूंकि जर्नलिज्म का एक फेज हो गया जिंदगी का, तो जरूर मेरे दिमाग में ख्याल आते हैं क्रिएटिव चीजें करने की
हाँ।
अभी बिकॉज अंदर से तो वही इंसान है
जी।
वो जा नहीं सकता वो एक आर्टिस्ट है
जी
तो जरूर मन करता है कि मे बी डू सम म्यूजिक अभी भी करता है
रियाज करते हैं रोज
अब तो नहीं हो पाता
नहीं होगा
अब तो टाइम नहीं मिलता छूट गया
हाँ
लेकिन because I have a very keen ear on music
Of
I
course.
listen to all kinds
Of
of music because of work and other reasons I've traveled the world so the first thing that anywhere I go in the world even today is the music that pulls me
absolutely
all kinds of music
हाँ
so yeah so that as I said these are all now part of your DNA so it'll always be with you never go away
सो आप फिर बाद आप पहले दिल्ली में थे राइट उसके बाद आपको आप शिफ्ट हुए बॉम्बे एंड दैट वाज आई थिंक इन 2008 you came something around that only in Bombay
no in 2003
2003 ओके तब वहाँ पे राज ठाकरे जी की जो डिवाइसिव पॉलिटिक्स शुरू हुई थी
हाँ।
तो उसमें आप एकदम तब नए नए आए थे यहाँ पे और वो तो देवा काफी सारे यूपी बिहार के भैया राइट और आप वही थे did it hurt you did you feel
Oh, of
bad
course it
about
did.
that I'm sure it must
Yeah,
have.
of course.
Please
And by
tell
the
us-
way,
please tell us
Raj
your
and
experience
Raj
about
and I
that.
ended up being very good friends. In fact, based on the arguments we
Right.
had. And also, I knew the Marcoshri family till it split very well. And there's a story, which is really the reasons why I wrote this book. Is when I landed in Mumbai, they were running a campaign, Shiv Sena, called the Me Mumbai Cup. And for that campaign, they had organized one big seminar. So I was invited to participate in that seminar. There was Uda, there was my friend Javed Akhtar, a lot of people. And who was trying to explain, what is this campaign all about? Which is, his explanation was very weak because the campaign ultimately was Maharashtrians to be there and non-Maharashtrians not to be there. So at that point in time, in 2 days, I had met somewhere, just a day before, a gentleman called K.C. Srivastava. I still remember it very clearly because he was the BMC commissioner. And he gave me some statistics,
Okay.
which clearly said that migration within Maharashtra to Mumbai from different parts of Maharashtra is actually much higher than this migration from outside,
Okay.
which is made in such a huge thing.
Yeah.
So I joked, I laughed and joked. I said, by what this conference is like having this function here right now. I said, by this logic, I should pack my bags and leave because I just come 3 days ago to Mumbai. So the sentiment was hurt there and then. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
And Raj and I had some very serious arguments. So as I told you, I also became personal friends with him.
Okay.
There were in functions we had arguments, in interviews we had arguments. And I've written about it in the book. He's very well aware what I've written in the book.
Okay.
And I thought it was this very negative politics. Thankfully, with time, these politicians do everything only
Yeah.
to the benefit of their calculation. So with time, it died down.
Yeah.
But at that stage, it was very volatile. It was very harming to the society at large that you single out people just based on localism or regionalism and then attack them.
Absolutely.
That's very negative.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Okay, now coming to what the stories you did in Bombay. I think you and your team cracked the Telgi scam. Tell us about it. That should be like about इसके अंदर की खुफिया कुछ जानकारी or something.
There are a lot of stories, but Sanjay Singh was my reporter, and Sanjay's also written a book which has been done by OTT, and in fact, he just came and met me.
Which OTT is that?
No, I think it's a Netflix, somewhere a Telugu series has been made,
Okay.
and because the directors and all contacted me, so I said no, entirely. So there are two stories which are very prominent, it's also mentioned in this book. One, a lot of people don't know that it was such a huge and a strong story that for many days I carried the Telgi report in my bag and literally instead of a pillow I would sleep with it. Because that was the period when we didn't have a channel to launch the story.
You were just starting the Bombay,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So there was no NDTV channel.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
what people now should know, of course, these are things of the past. The NDTV channel was launched with this story.
Oh, that was the reason. That's the Bombay
So-
2000.
Yeah, so what happened was that for a fairly long period of time, so that it doesn't get leaked, yeah,
Yes.
other people are also, there was a kind of a buzz in the police circles and something has happened to the Mumbai police, and a big story might come out. And in Mumbai, where you get
Oh,
stories
there was a
from.
buzz like that.
There was a buzz. There was a buzz.
There was a buzz.
So in Mumbai, where do you get the stories from? You have to be half a criminal to get the story. So naturally, I met all kinds of people. There was a cop, disgruntled cop against his senior. That's how you get your story. So he first gave me the lead. Then I went to dance bars where I actually saw Telgi and
Oh, okay.
people, they would spend lakhs of rupees on one particular dancer, and so it was astonishing. I'd never seen something like that in my life. So a lot of things happened. So to build up, the build up to the story was, but those were great days of journalism in the sense that you could spend so much time chasing the story. Not unlike today. where-
Breaking news.
Yeah, where my serious recommendation is for these channels to shut down. So you could spend. So obviously, if you want a story which is related to crime, underworld, I've chased a lot of underworld.
Gee.
So you have to go to those alleys. You
Yeah.
can't get them in Malabar Hill. So
Bombay has to be the place.
yeah, you have to go to these places. You have to know these people. And Bombay is full of these wonderfully shady characters. There was still a shadow of the underworld that loomed,
Right.
although it was much lesser in the 90s. So, there was a man. I mean, by the way, your city was his biggest place of operation, Pune.
Yeah, that's right. The
So-
race, especially the race course.
The race course, because when I came across the story, we worked on the police story, and later we also worked on the Telgi story. But when I came across his modus operandi, I was shocked. I mean, imagine somebody's like printing currency, fake notes. He just printed stamp papers. And it was impossible for any government. Till date, you may not know which stamp paper are you using, fake or original. There's no way you can figure it out. So when the cops and all, as I said, with this gun-filled cop showed me the
Gee.
fake papers, fake stamp papers. I was shocked, and this was a small bar in Matunga.
Okay.
So they got copies of. So these are. Then the second incident was very alarming because the Mumbai Police Commissioner is a very powerful man, very, very powerful. I've known many of them. So R.S. Sharma was the police commissioner.
Gee.
So we had to lay a trap on him because he would not otherwise give you an interview.
Oh, okay.
So some terrorists, police loves to brag about it. We did this, we did that. So we called him up and we said, "We want to come and interview you about this terrorist chief caught." And I was very happy. Yeah, sure. So just like you and I are sitting and chatting and you have a paper in your hand. So I started asking him questions. Sanjay's mentioned that on the book and it's also part of the series. So just right in between the conversation, I opened the reporter.
Okay.
So while he's sort of telling the greatness of Mumbai police and his ATS and how he, so I told him, here is this report, which names you and indicts you.
Really? You said that to him?
And the camera was on.
Right.
He just freaked out. And started calling me names And I kept went on telling him, this is what you've done, this is what you've done, this is what another senior officer has done, this is what your famous top cops have done, your encounter specialists have done, these are the phone recordings. Everything I kept on saying, and he kept on abusing me. He sort of lost it. And imagine this was happening inside the Mumbai police headquarters.
जी absolutely.
तो कोई केस ही बना के अंदर कर देता, you would never come out of it.
डर लगा नहीं?
हाँ,
आप
डर
जब
लगा।
फाइल डाल लेके सोते थे तो डर लगा नहीं?
जी, तब उतना डर नहीं लगा, because तब तो यार की story को protect करके रखना, so that it's not leaked to anyone else and no one else gets the story. You are the first to be with the story. But this was scary.
Yeah.
I knew the power of Mumbai police. In some ways, there is nothing called underworld. Mumbai police is the underworld. The crime branch is the underworld. So they only created all mafias and killed them later. So I knew enough about Mumbai police. I had enough friends in Mumbai police.
जी जी.
Also, I had enough friends in the underworld. So to tell you what happened. So police commissioner is very powerful, egoistical man. And he just said, you know, what Prakash is doing. Are you out of your brains? And all kinds of, I can't even repeat the language. So, and wherever I was, I kept on reading out what was there in the report. The report was 100% genuine. But this is true that he did not know of the report.
Okay.
He did not. He seriously did not know the report. He had no clue that the investigation that was going on of the connection between Delhi and the Mumbai police and the corruption and the indictment and all that. The report has already been made. That he did.
Okay.
So I don't know what kind of police commissioner he was, but he had no idea. Nor did his DGP knew.
So you talked about.
So all of them,
Okay, sorry.
all of them, Subodh Jaiswal, this, that. Oh, no, it was not Jaiswal, I forget one name, I'm forgetting. All the top guys, entire Mumbai police was empty. All the top guys went to jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then one guy called Pradeep Sawant, I asked, and he was a very top cop because under him was these Dayan Nayak and Pradeep Sharma and Encounter Squad and all that. And it's full of these filmy, who are very dark people. So these guys will really boss around and come to meet you in hotel with loaded guns. They were no less than the underworld or Chota Shakil themselves. So, and they were on a killing spree. So, Sanju made me meet Diana in Tajlands, and then I met another guy. So then this Pradeep Sawant. Firstly, I stayed at Karcher Road. A lot of cops, top cops, were Paramveer, who ended up being Mumbai Police Commissioner.
Right.
They came. So in Mumbai, there's a thing called Matwali.
Yeah.
So slow down. What is your problem? By then, girlfriend was from the film industry. So she was also very scared. But then, the cat was out of the bag. There's nothing I could have done. The story was all over the place. Obviously, big newspapers like Times of India, Indian Express, they all started their investigation. Midday started there. So everybody was running after this one story. So you must have had, at that point in time, some 100 reporters working on Delhi. It was such a massive scam.
It was one of the biggest stories.
One of the biggest stories of Maharashtra police corruption. So this Pradeep Sawant came to meet me, and he was a very powerful man. Under him was all these encounter specialists. So he was the very famous infamous DCP of Mumbai. And all these guys later became friends.
Okay.
And he came and met me. So this was the second story. Just before that, before his arrest, I had gone for dinner to a friend's house in Mumbai. It was a ghazal singer, Talat Aziz. And Pradeep Sharma threw the dinner plate.
He threw the dinner plate.
And he accused Talat Aziz that you've tried to trap me by calling this fellow. Because he's running behind my life with a fake story. And so, I'm not getting all of that tamasha happened. Then this Pradeep Sawant came to me. He was kind of, he was kind of a combination of both intimidation plus politeness. But he's kind of trying to convey.
यूपी के जो होते हैं ना उस टाइप का क्या?
हाँ, कि मतलब उसको थोड़ा सा ऐसा समझा रहा था कि भी जानते नहीं हो हम लोग कौन हैं. तो अच्छा, इसलिए I knew, as I said, underworld कोई, there's nothing called underworld. मुंबई पुलिस ही होती है when they want to be the real underworld. So this has been historically proven. So I'm nothing new telling you. So Pradeep Sawant was also this big guy, मतलब very powerful. उसके सालस्कर, फालस्कर, सब उसके shooters थे, और with guns licensed to kill. तो polite तरीके से उसने भी समझाया है. अभी हो गया, slow down. So ये सब बहुत कुछ हुआ. Pradeep Sawant also went to jail. In fact, after he met me, we ran hours and hours of his tape recordings, in which he was having conversations with Delhi and his people. So yeah, very tough times. But exciting times. अब वो सब नहीं. अब तो there's no passion left because there's no news, no journalism.
अच्छा ठीक, तो अब हम जरा थोड़ा सा फिर हल्के इस पे बात करते हैं. आप जब पहले गए बॉम्बे, तो you were absolutely, you loved the बम्बईया हिंदी.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, he loved. Yes, she does. She's surprised.
I love it. Your friend Jackie speaks so well. He loves that Hindi.
So tell me why you love it. What is so unique and special about it? और मुझे उसके बाद एक बढ़िया सा एग्जाम्पल लेके
क्योंकि मैं, जैसे आपने थोड़ी देर पहले पूछा ना, मैं यूपी वाला था, तो यूपी में बड़बड़ बोलना, आप यू कैन मेक आउट बाय नाउ कितना बोलता हूँ मैं. बोलने की आदत नेचुरल होती है, ज़बान नेचुरल होती है. फिर मजबूरी से दिल्ली आया, तो वहाँ पे पहले घबरा गया, क्योंकि वहाँ पे पंजाबी हिंदी है. माँ बहन की गाली के बगैर उनका कोई सेंटेंस ही नहीं कंप्लीट होता. एंड विमेन मेन अलाइक इक्वली अब्यूज्ड. ये तो नफासत लखनऊ में थी, गाली वाली तो थोड़ी कम होती थी. तो वो मैं मालवीय नगर में रह रहा हूँ, पंजाबी रेफ्यूजी सेटलमेंट. आप सोच सकते हैं कि मतलब आज तो आप खाना खाने भी अगर जाइए, एक गरीब से रेस्टोरेंट में खाना खाने जाता था, तो वेटर भी गाली देके पूछेगा क्या खाओगे. पंजाबियों का अलग. तो मेरे लिए बड़े इम्पैक्ट है.
उनकी भाषा ऐसी होती है कि वो नॉर्मल बात कर रहे थे तो भी लगता है कि गाली वाली दे रहे हैं क्या.
तो हमारे घर में जैसे था, तो आपके घर में जरूर होगा, आप लोगों के घर में एक रेफरल शब्द जो था किसी को संबोधित करने का, वो आमूमन आप ही था. दिल्ली आया तू कैसा है. तो थोड़ा सा उसके बाद जब मुंबई गया, तो मुंबई में मैंने एंजॉय. तो वो हुआ कैसे, मैं आपको बताता हूँ. क्योंकि नेचुरली व्हेन आई हैड अ वेरी नाइस टीम, एंटरटेनमेंट, क्राइम, पॉलिटिक्स. अब ज्यादातर चाहे वो नॉर्थ इंडियंस भी थे, संजय सिंह जैसे, या कुछ और रिपोर्टर्स भी थे सारे मुंबई वाले. तो वो आपसे बात ही उसी लैंग्वेज में करते थे. तो एक बार वो संजय प्रभाकर था, तो उसको किसी के पास भेजा मैंने, किसी पुलिस वाले के पास. वो बेचारा रिपोर्टर बैठा रहा 7-8 घंटा, उसको स्टोरी नहीं मिली. तो शाम को होता ना मीटिंग में, आप डांटते हो क्या करेंगे, स्टोरी नहीं ला पाया रिपोर्टर. तो उसको मैंने हल्का सा डांटा संजय को, क्या अभी तुम पूरे दिन लगा के आए हो, क्या हुआ तुम्हारी पूरी स्टोरी. अरे सर क्या बात करते सर, पूरा दिन बैठा के रखा, दिमाग का दही कर दिया. These terms I never known earlier. So I really started enjoying it. फिर I witnessed मैंने fact एक सीरीज भी कराई थी इसके ऊपर, कि जो नॉर्थ इंडियंस भी वहाँ पे थे, जैसे टैक्सी वाले मिले, ऑटो वाले मिले, खूब सबसे दोस्तियाँ होती रही. तो वो लोग भी ओवर अ पीरियड रहने के बाद वहाँ पे वो भी इसी लैंग्वेज को बोलते थे. हाँ, वो आप उनसे टैक्सी वाले से पूछो कहाँ के, तो बोलेंगे गोरखपुर के, आजमगढ़ के, बलिया के, और बोलते वो एकदम मतलब बिल्कुल ही यूनिक हिंदी. ऐसी हिंदी दुनिया में आपको कहीं मिल ही नहीं सकता. आई लव्ड इट. एंड वो पानी पूरी वाला भी वैसे हिंदी बोलता था. तो मेरे लिए इट वाज वेरी फैसिनेटिंग to learn that language, थोड़ा बहुत उन लोगों के साथ मैंने भी हंसी मजाक में बोलनी शुरू की ना तरह
अच्छा एक तो सेंटेंस आप बोली थी मुंबई लैंग्वेज में हमारे साथ
उतना ऐसे से ना मैं आई वुड हैव लव टू बट मैं हिचकिचा इसलिए रहा हूँ क्योंकि उनके पास जो फ्लुएंसी है वो नहीं है मेरे पास।
आप अपनी कोशिश कर लीजिए सर।
नहीं वो ऐसे वो लोग इतना आराम से बोलते, मैं कोशिश करूंगा तो कॉन्शियस एफर्ट लगेगा, वो लोग आराम से बोलते रहे अरे क्या है एकदम दिमाग का दही कर दिया, सुबह से खाली पीली आदमी क्या एडिटर बन गया है, सब बात करते रहे तो हाँ खाली पीले दौड़ाता रहता है, 4 स्टोरी खुद नहीं करके ला सकता, लिसन टू इट। फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में खूब दोस्त बने तो वहाँ भी जो particularly जो टेक्निकल क्लास था, टेक्नीशियंस, तो उनके बीच स्टूडियो लैंग्वेज चलती है, प्रोडक्शन वाला, so it's a very common language, तो बहुत मजा आता था।
Okay, now we come back to your book, Lucknow to Lutyens। तो एक तो पहले just a side question, ये जो Lutyens का है, Lutyens दिल्ली जो है, ये क्या फिनोमेना है? I mean, is it real? Is it a fact that Lutyens Delhi and Lutyens media is disconnected from the rest of the India as everyone says, or is it just a hype?
No, it's actually a geographic. You see, I have lived in a place called Balchamar, which is 3-4 minutes away from my sister's house.
बहुत पास है।
So that's very high profile, really Lutyens.
जी।
It's just a power-centric perception created of the people who live there for a simple reason that the majority of them were either top politicians or top bureaucrats or top industrialists or whatever. So they in any case did not have much of a connect with the biggest politicians also who end up in Delhi. There's nothing called Delhi politicians. They're all from outside Delhi. So they came and lived there. So the perception was created. Journalists had to meet those politicians. Now, that becomes Lutyens media, which is rubbish because 99% of journalists don't even stay in Lutyens area. So all this basically is a perception that the power-centric people or the power-center people are actually disconnected with what is happening in the rest of the world. I don't think that is much of a case. Yet I wanted to keep the title. There was a lot of debate with someone on the title. It's because I wanted to comment on it.
On Lutyens.
Okay. Yeah. So from Lucknow to Lutyens.
Yeah.
So it's the title of the book is like a comment. So it is not that people in Lutyens are some other species. No, it's not that. But the general perception became because a certain set of people wanted to sell it as Lutyens media or whatever. So it just became a perception. Otherwise, I saw nothing distinctly. As I said, I've lived there for 10 years. So nothing distinctly different from what it was there in the rest of the world. It is that politician came, they lived there. Every MP gets a house. 5 साल कभी उसका टर्म होता है, वो आ जाता है, चला जाता है. और सारे तो बाहर के, कोई दिल्ली का तो है ही नहीं. Including prime ministers, including ministers, they're all from outside. So it is just their base, like DC, like Washington DC. So it's just their home base. So you go to White House. Anybody who's traveled to Washington would know. So there's an area, there's a particular area which is all around the senators and the staff and people live. And they're all from different parts of the US.
Right.
So it is not that they have some exclusive community living going on. It's nothing like that.
So anyway, coming back to your book, it's about UP. Essentially, it's about the problems and issues of UP. दिल्ली की गति यूपी से निकलती है, ये तो बहुत फेमस और वो सही भी, right? Why is it that a place which should be so powerful and is full of so many talented and हुनर वाले लोग, that is one of the that is in the state it is right now, okay? Development wise, poverty wise, caste,
you're right.
So many. Why ऐसा क्यों?
इसी वजह से तो ये किताब मैंने लिखी ना, क्योंकि इतना मुझे 20 साल से ज्यादा यूपी पे रिपोर्टिंग करने के बाद, एनालाइज करने के बाद, तो मुझे भी ये दर्द महसूस हुआ, शॉक बल्कि दर्द से ज्यादा, कि इतना ताकतवर स्टेट, तेरा प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स, अरे मैं तो उस किताब में इस बात को आर्ग्यू करता हूँ, तो पॉइंट आई आर्ग्यू इन द बुक कि जो नेता थे खाली वो अपना एरिया डेवलप कर देते, तो इमेजिन यूपी क्या होता. The bastions that they belong to, there's a chapter called bastions. Even if they just develop that, imagine where would UP be? So there are some serious element of system, both governmental and social system in UP, which needs highlighting and course correction. And that is exactly the reason why I wrote this book, and I'm very glad because I must share this with all of you. It's so important to meet all of you here. Initially, all this HarperCollins exercise, not that I have completed with it. For marketing reasons, they launched the book just before the elections, last elections. The book did well. But I got active with the book after the elections were over. Because when I did interviews on the book and it got rave reviews, I started saying that this book is on UP. It is neither on a particular government, party, or the present elections. So now the book is doing very well because whoever is reading this book is understanding that this book is on UP, not on the last elections or BJP government but the fact how there's a chapter on Congress collapse, how Indira Gandhi ruined UP. Okay, 1969 onwards, her struggle to get hold of, she removed people. Then the fascinating thing I learned during research, I freaked out still while telling you, I'm getting goosebumps. From 1947 till the third term of Mayawati as a full-term chief minister, UP never had a CM who completed its term. Not even Sucheta Kriplani. The politics. Throwing in, throwing out. Indira Gandhi caused a lot of damage. Then, BJP, Kalyan Singh. In Kalyan Singh's ministry, there were 97 ministers. What morality can BJP talk of? And there was also Harishankar Tiwari, the legendary mafia of Gorakhpur, who wore sadly a Gandhi cap, and he was Science and Technology Minister. The most noted mafia of UP was a Science and Technology Minister in BJP government. So everybody played the game purely based on caste and politics. Development was not even remotely on anyone's agenda. 89 onwards, Congress never came back to power. So then, of course, the Mandalization happened, then the rise of Mulayam and Mayawati. So I've tried to highlight these factors, that all this was so caste-ridden, crime-ridden, that nobody, Eastern UP. Now look at Eastern UP. You're presently a Chief Minister, Prime Minister, both are from there. Banaras, the Prime Minister comes from, and Gorakhpur, which has a very shady history, the hub of crime, the Chief Minister comes from. It is the poorest part and the most populated part of UP and the most crime infested. Salim and his people, I went chasing Abu Salim to Lisbon way back in 2002. Yeah. So, his entire supply line, all this I've mentioned in the book, came from Eastern UP. And then when I asked the police that how do you deal with it, he said it's impossible. In fact, it's also been shown in movies and documentaries, in the underworld. Because these young kids, 16, 17-year-old, would come, commit a crime for 2,000 or 5,000 rupees, as cheap as that, shoot somebody, and then go away. They could never be traced because there was no police record available on them. They would go back. Till date it's happening. And they would go back to Azamgarh. And then from there, because it's a porous Eastern UP border, simply walk and get into Nepal.
Okay.
It's just you from there, you can simply walk and get into Nepal. So, politicians loved it. And they just kept playing on it. So till date, as you and I speak on this particular day, Eastern UP, which has produced the most powerful politicians, is the most crime infested, lowest per capita agri. अभी तो योगी को भी 5 साल हो गए. Then also nothing has changed. They will make these expressways, and do all this thing. But the local people, nothing has changed.
Tell me, there's an interesting chapter in your book called Ram Bharose. So, अभी राम भरोसे राम मंदिर.
Yeah.
पर अभी तो ज्ञानवापी भी आ रहा है, कृष्ण जन्म का भी इशू शुरू हो गया है. Do you think these two will go anywhere? Will they become another, Shankarji Bharose या कृष्ण भरोसे या what is it? How do you think?
I think राम भरोसे तो इसलिए लिखा है क्योंकि बीजेपी has always been राम भरोसे.
जी.
अभी भी उसको वोट चाहिए तो एक के मित्र मेरे दोस्त एमपीसीसी के चेयरमैन है, वो कंसल्टेंट है राम मंदिर के. तो राम मंदिर जो है उम्मीद ये की जा रही है कि जनवरी में इट विल बी ओपन फॉर एवरीवन. तो बीजेपी नेचुरली विल गेट बेनिफिट फॉर इट. सो if you read that chapter, I quickly tell the story, and nobody gets bored. In 1989, in a small place in Himachal Pradesh called Palanpur, a BJP convention happened. Now, when I say BJP convention, don't think of it like today, where crores are spent. This is a small 2-member party. कोई इसकी औकात नहीं थी उस समय. आज कोई कन्वेंशन होती है तो आप समझ ही सकते हैं ना, हिंदुस्तान को रोक दिया जाता है कि जो बीजेपी की कन्वेंशन हो रही है. तो there was a RSS ideologue called Boropan Pingle. All this I've written in the book. It's part of my research. And he said to the BJP that you should raise the Ram Mandir. And members of the BJP, which included people like Advani, etc. As I said, Janasangh had collapsed. So in 1951, Janasangh was formed. In 1980, from Maharashtra, which is Mumbai, 6th April 1980, BJP was formed. So it did very badly. It had no political scene of its own. So the members in that convention asked Moropan Pingle that why should we raise these issues. It then also included Ram Mandir, Gyanvapi Mosque, and the third
Krishna Janma. Mathura.
The reason, see, they think politics, how to use religion for politics. Moropan Pingle replied that you should use Ram Janmabhoomi because of the fact that in the so-called area of controversy, as we all know now, which is the great mistake done by Rajiv Gandhi according to these people, the place was locked. If you all remember, Tala laga hota tha. Us tale ko khola gaya tha. And that's how the whole issue took off. So Moropan Pingle replied and said that if you make this an issue, it will work with the Hindus. Why? Because in other two places, Hindus are allowed inside to do puja. Here it is not.
Okay, that was...
Because the place itself is locked. And that idea worked brilliantly. And then of course, both Shahbano, I'm not getting into the whole history where Rajiv Gandhi made this mistake and whatever. But for BJP, it was Bhagwan Ram का आशीर्वाद. Whole issue, nothing. मरी हुई पार्टी थी, 2 members की पार्टी थी, वो भी एक टर्म पूरा नहीं किया था. So when I said ना कि convention हो रही BJP, don't think of today, think then. It's a nobody's party. Janasangh had collapsed. Their relationship with everyone was very bad. The 75 experiment post-emergency, the Janata Party had collapsed. They were a nowhere party. Usme this thing came. And then, of course, you all know the remaining history, Advani's Rath Yatra, and the demolition in 92. The main thing was because the Sangh and the BJP went and told their supporters that we need to free this place. That is what is called the Ram Janmabhoomi. तो उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ कि वो उनको इमोशनल रिएक्शन बहुत तगड़ा मिला. बाकी जगहों पे हिंदू पूजा कर रहे हैं.
था, इसमें एक्सेस नहीं था.
इसमें एक्सेस नहीं, तो एकदम से हिंदुओं को रिएक्शन हुआ कि भाई ये जगह हमारी क्यों नहीं है, हमें उसके अंदर क्यों नहीं जाने दिया है।
Like, I mean, I can go on.
I know.
Arguing with you, but this is a really fascinating discussion. But we are running short of time. But I have to ask you one very important question. आपका अगर if you don't mind आपका एतराज़ नहीं हो तो यूपी में फैंटास्टिक खाने बताइए। यूपी तो खजाना है अच्छे खानों का। आपकी पसंदीदा चीज़ क्या है? वहाँ जाके खाना ही खाना है, ऐसा आप क्या बताएंगे?
मतलब you can't go without.
You can't go without eating that.
I don't know. इतना कुछ है, like I love Maharashtra, I love Mumbai, and I'll die in Mumbai if I don't eat vada pav.
Okay.
Yeah, today we
We have a nice vada pav here also.
Yeah, so यूपी बहुत मुश्किल है because इतना ज़्यादा खाना है ना।
दो ही चीजें बता दीजिए जो आपकी एकदम मनपसंद है ऐसी।
बट लखनऊ के हिसाब से तो आज भी टुंडे कबाब है।
हाँ,
बिल्कुल।
उनका मतलब जो अमीनाबाद वाली दुकान है, और चूंकि टुंडे के बड़े सारे कोई चीज़ मशहूर हो जाती है उसकी ब्रांचेस बहुत हो जाती है, लेकिन ओरिजिनल होता है। तो अभी तक तो टुंडे का दूसरा मुझे रिप्लाई किसी होटल रेस्टोरेंट कहीं नहीं मिल पाया। दूसरी चीज़ जो बड़ी ख़ास होती है, जो नफीस लोग हैं पुराने लखनऊ के और बहुत हमारे अच्छे दोस्त हैं, जो उनके घरों में जो बिरयानी और गोश्त बनता है।
अच्छा, ओके।
गलौटी थोड़ा सा मॉडर्नाइज हो गया।
तो खुशबू वाली
जो जैसे आप किसी आपके जो पुराने वहाँ के मुस्लिम फैमिलीज हैं, आप जाइए अभी भी ईद वगैरह में, और कभी मौका होता है तो उनके घर का जो खाना बनता है
वो एकदम लजीज हो।
अरे वो मतलब वो मिल ही नहीं सकता।
जी।
तो दैट वे यूपी में तो अगर आप बनारस चले जाइए तो मिठाई, बनारस का अलग आलू, वो कचौड़ी आलू इतना बड़ा है। अब आप एक ही चीज से अंदाजा लगा दीजिए, मुझे कौन जवाब somebody was telling me कि कुछ शायद thousands में इंडिया में सब फूड शोज होते हैं, डिजिटल पे या टेलीविजन में मिला के, और फिर भी खाना नहीं खत्म होता। So that rich our country is. I recently traveled to Mexico last year. So we all love Mexican food. I had original authentic food and all that. Very nice, I liked it, I loved it. It's not that. But you can't imagine the range we have in India.
Absolutely.
So from south, down south to West Bengal to, it's endless, to Maharashtra. I love the food here.
It's culinary paradise actually. Not in terms of variety.
So somebody told me, I'm forgetting, so he actually said,
must be somebody only.
See how many programs, magazines, they're just running on food, and then how many independent food bloggers. Still, the food doesn't finish in India. So in any other country, be it US, UK, America, wherever, so there's some sort of limitation. Here it never ends. You go to Maharashtra, in Maharashtra you have 30 places different from each other.
So Abhigyan ji, we'll ask, the audience wants to ask a couple of questions to you.
I think they're bored enough. So.
Very interesting, very engrossing, and
It's kind
I think we are running short of time, and there seems to be no end to the conversation that was going on. So the session has been amazing. Thank you. It is not enough, but you have opened so many doors and gates for us. We surely are going to leave the room with some food for thought.
Food again.
Any questions you want to ask, I'll quickly answer.
I have a question.
जी, please.
आपने कहा कि अब कई चीजें हैं जो आप सोचते हैं you could have changed. So अगर आप कुछ बदलते तो वो क्या था? वो आपकी जो जीवन की एक दिशा है उसको किस तरह बदल देती? किस दिशा में आप ले जाते अगर बदल देते?
एक लाइन में, आज का न्यूज़ टेलीविजन, उसका हिस्सा होने में बड़ी शर्म आती है। पहले जब हम उसका हिस्सा थे तो बड़ा फख्र था।
So what would you change in your? You said I could have changed in my life.
In my life, I could have taken a more creative route. Not done maybe television this way, but a lot of creative offers came my way. But because I was working, I couldn't do that. That surely I would have pursued. Surely could be music, acting, making movies, or something maybe related to communication. Because I also had an advertising background. But yeah, may not be purely news journalism.
So this new OTT which has come, करिश्मा तन्ना का Scoop. तो उसमें वो बोलती है कि I'm on direct call with छोटा राजन. Is it true? Is it true?
Yeah, you can. I spent 11 days with him in Bangkok. I know most of these people. That's very.
ऐसे direct call किया journalist.
हाँ, वो करते हैं. Regularly. I've received call from Chota Shakil. ये बहुत normal होता है. See, you have to understand their psyche also. ना. We are a vehicle for also their advertising.
Yeah.
उनकी दुकान कैसे चलेगी अगर उनकी खबर नहीं चलेगी? उनका डर का धंधा है. तो they're very much in touch. ये कोई नई चीज नहीं है. So before he was attacked in not just me, even in Lisbon for Abu Salim, it was not just me.
Yeah.
There were 3-4 other reporters also. So in Bangkok there were other reporters also. So they meet you. They're very. उनको भी तो न्यूज उनके ऊपर न्यूज चाहिए ना, नहीं तो उनसे कौन डरेगा? उनकी बात नहीं पहुंचेगी कहीं. तो वो कोई मतलब I'm not surprised. तो बड़ी नॉर्मल सी चीज है. फिर मेरे जितने भी क्राइम रिपोर्टर्स रहे हैं, इंक्लूडिंग never really a crime reporter, तो बहुत कनेक्शन होता है. एंड इनका एक बस लास्ट पॉइंट, आप सॉरी आपको टाइम, इनका जो अपनी इंटेलिजेंस का नेटवर्क होता है ना अंडरवर्ल्ड का, वो भारत सरकार से तो 100 गुना बेहतर होता है. इतना इनको पता होता है, इनको एक एक चीज की इतनी जानकारी उस समय रखते थे कि इवन वी वर शॉक्ड. मतलब कभी कभी तो ऐसा लगता था कोई खबर कंफर्म करनी तो इन्हीं को फोन करना.
इन्हीं से लेकर टिप्स.
जी.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, of course.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand that you've met so many people in your journey, like right from age 18 onwards. So who would you really think of as your role model or somebody that has influenced you deeply, whether it's in the political scenario or in otherwise?
A lot of people have been there in different ways. My mother, of course. Single out करने में थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होती है मुझे, but
पहले याद आए, like maybe
one person मैं उनको बाबजी बोलता था, is Atal ji. Atal Vajpayee was a true statesman. I saw him do things because I've seen most of the prime ministers after him, so obviously I thought he was different, and he surely had that quality where he had a much larger heart, which at least in India, whoever leads the top chair should have, in my opinion, because India is a complicated country. He should have a big heart, which he did. And he collapsed also many times. Vajpayee. A lot of people don't realize that 6.5 साल में 3 बार तो गिर गए थे as prime minister, but he recovered. So one of the, and I closely saw him, traveled with him a lot, both in India and outside. I thought he had a massive impression on me in some way.
Such a wonderful orator also.
He was a wonderful orator. मेरे नाम का खूब मजाक बनाते थे. मेरे नाम का असली मतलब उन्होंने मुझे समझाया. बहुत रेयर है, इसका ज्ञान से कोई मतलब नहीं है. संस्कृत और पाली दोनों भाषाएं वो जानते थे. उनके बारे में बहुत कम लोग असली बातें जानते हैं. और उन्होंने ही मुझे बताया कि तक्षशिला में जो पहचान पत्र होता था, आइडेंटिटी कार्ड, उसको अभिज्ञान पत्र कहते हैं. अभिज्ञान का मतलब होता है, हाँ, पाली में इसका उच्चारण होगा अभिज्ञान, और इसका मतलब होता है पहचान. तभी कालिदास ने जो ग्रंथ लिखा था, जिस पर हमारे देश का नाम है, अभिज्ञान शाकुंतल, वो शाकुंतल और दुष्यंत के प्रेम से पैदा हुए बच्चे की कहानी थी, जिसका नाम भरत था. तो कायदे से अगर आप देखिए तो हमारे देश का नाम जो है वो किसी के लव चाइल्ड पे बेस्ड है और उसकी आइडेंटिटी पर कालिदास ने अभिज्ञान शाकुंतल लिखा था। तो ये सारी बातें हमको एक्सप्लेन करने वाले अटल जी थे। I used to go every time we went to Manali when he went on holiday as Prime Minister। तो वो थे, बस उनकी एक ही प्रॉब्लम थी, बोलते बहुत धीरे धीरे थे।
तो आपको अभी लगता है 2024 में जो इलेक्शंस होंगे हमारी कंट्री के पास में वाजपेयी जी जैसा कोई लीडर है जो देश को आगे बढ़ा सकता है
अभी
या रूलिंग पार्टी में या ऑपोजिशन में?
नहीं कोई,
क्योंकि यहाँ पे तो सब लोग अपना ही वो कुछ कर रहे हैं। अभी इन्होंने वो कुछ सम्मेलन किए हैं ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज ने, दे वांट टू गेट टुगेदर एंड काउंटर।
अब फिलहाल तो अभी जैसे मैंने पहले भी आपसे कहा था कि अटल जी जैसा नेता अभी की तो राजनीति में मुझे कोई नहीं नजर आता, रिमोटली भी नहीं नजर आता उनके आसपास।
पर आपने ये किताब लिखी है और आपने ये भी बोला है कि चीफ मिनिस्टर योगी आदित्यनाथ जी जो है 5 साल के लिए ऑलरेडी रह चुके हैं यूपी में एज चीफ मिनिस्टर, बट डेवलपमेंट वो नहीं है जो
Can we refrain from politics, please?
तो इसका फिर मतलब क्या हुआ?
नहीं मतलब जिस स्केल पे आपको
तो
पहले
जो
वो
प्राइम मिनिस्टर
उनको
है-
टाइम नहीं है, मैं आपको एक लास्ट बात बोलता तो उसका हम सब गप्पे मार लेंगे चाय पे। अब जैसे खूब विज्ञापन होता है जब कोई एक्सप्रेस वे बनता है, होता है ना, प्रधानमंत्री आ रहे हैं और फलाना हो रहा है और हवाई जहाज लैंड कर जा रहा है और टीवी चैनल जो है ज्यादातर गुलाम टीवी चैनल वो पागल ही हो जाते हैं, मतलब पता नहीं इंडिया में क्या हो गया। नेशनल हाईवे एवरेज पर यूपी इज नंबर 7। तो अगर 70 साल और वो हाईवे बनाएंगे ना तो वो नेशनल एवरेज के करीब आएंगे। मेरा कहने का मतलब ये था।
I am Amita Muno, the SAS women of Pune, and I would like to express my sincerest gratitude to Abhigyan, Prakash and conversationalist Sujata Sabnis. I would like to thank our media partner Lokmat and venue courtesy O Hotel. Last but not the least, our audience, and I would like Sunita Kalyani to come forward and please felicitate our speaker. Stand on the side so that we can picture. Thank you, Prakash, for being an amazing intellect. I mean, thank you for this afternoon and also for an amazing.
It was very informal and that's what I liked the most.
And
She
please
was
don't.
wonderful, it was very informal, so I could talk.
Sir,
Yeah.
we are the credit for making informal goes to you.
Yeah.
You were so open and candid.
Yeah.
tak tak